the many psychological types outlined by Carl Gustav Jung, there is one that occupies a unique place, not only due to its rarity, but also because of the psychic complexity it carries. The intuitive introvert. According to Jung, this personality represents one of the most difficult modes to understand, both by others and by oneself. It is not a type oriented towards external action, the world of facts, or observable emotions. On the contrary, it lives connected to a symbolic flow that emerges from the unconscious, guided by inner images, premonitions, and archetypal structures that escape common perception. But Jung also left a clear warning that this very gift, if not balanced by a firm connection to reality, could become a profound vulnerability, leading not to enlightenment, but to a disorienting labyrinth within one's own mind. This is not about a flaw in character, but about the immense psychic energy this type wields and the responsibility that accompanies it. In this video, we will explore this trajectory in detail. We will understand how this type functions, what its specific dangers are, and above all, what transformative potential it carries when it manages to find a path of expression and integration. To understand the warning, we must first honor the gift. To be an intuitive introvert is to have your primary orientation turned inward, not toward the world of external facts, but toward the vast, symbolic landscape of the unconscious. You are naturally attuned to the mythic dimension of life. This is why you often just know things without being able to explain how. You do not deduce, you perceive. You see the connections that weave through the past, present, and future, sensing the underlying currents that guide events. This can feel like a powerful source of insight. It allows for profound creativity and a deep sense of meaning. However, every light casts a shadow, and for the intuitive introvert, the shadow is born from the very depth of their gift. Jung, himself an intuitive introvert, knew this landscape intimately. He recognized the significant risk that comes with such proximity to the powerful, autonomous contents of the unconscious. The danger begins when the inner world becomes more compelling, more vivid, and seemingly more real than the external one. The richness of inner visions can be so seductive that the outer world of concrete reality, with its practical demands and social codes, starts to feel banal, superficial, or even irrelevant. This is the first step on a perilous path, a gentle slide away from the very ground that keeps the psyche stable. Jung's warning was not a casual observation. It was a serious concern born from his work with individuals who had become lost in their own depths. While he saw its immense potential, he also understood the profound risks of losing contact with shared reality. Let's break down the specific dangers he identified. The first great peril is a form of dissociation and internal dispersion. When you become too absorbed in your inner world, you risk losing your footing. Life can begin to feel like a dream you are walking through, and you may find yourself detached from your own life, your relationships, and your responsibilities. The psyche begins to splinter. One part of you is navigating an immense, symbolic world within, while another, smaller part struggles to keep up with the demands of daily life. This isn't merely daydreaming. It is a fundamental split that can leave you feeling like a ghost in your own existence. This naturally leads to the second danger, profound isolation and alienation. Your mode of perception is rare, and because it is, you are often misunderstood. You may try to explain the patterns you see or the future you sense, only to be met with skepticism. Over time, you may simply stop trying. This can lead to a withdrawal from the world, a feeling of being fundamentally different and separate from others. This isolation can curdle into a form of unconscious arrogance, a quiet belief that you see more and know better, or it can spiral into deep existential loneliness, a feeling that no one can ever truly meet you in your own world. But Jung's most serious warning, the true heart of the matter, was the danger of being overwhelmed and dominated by the unconscious. Have you ever felt driven by moods or impulses that seem to come from nowhere, acting in ways that feel alien to your conscious self? Jung would say this is the unconscious demanding its due. When your powerful intuitions are not consciously acknowledged, integrated, and expressed, they do not simply disappear. They build pressure and can take on a life of their own, erupting as compulsive behaviors, overwhelming emotions, or destructive patterns. Jung called this process inflation, where the ego is inflated by unconscious contents and begins to identify with powerful archetypes without perceiving its own limits. In this state, you risk losing your individual agency, becoming a vessel for the immense impersonal forces of the collective unconscious. The more one tries to present a perfect, controlled mask to the world, the persona, the more chaotic the unlived life becomes in the shadow. The unconscious will eventually burst forth to restore balance, and if a conscious relationship with it has not been built, the emergence can be catastrophic. It is a terrifying state of being, to feel that you are no longer the master of your own house. Jung believed this disalliance with the unconscious was synonymous with a loss of instinct and a profound rootlessness, which could ultimately lead to neurosis. If these warnings are resonating with a truth you felt but couldn't name, take a moment to subscribe. You are not alone in this experience, and by joining this community, you are taking a step toward understanding and integration. This is not a life sentence. It is a call to a deeper form of consciousness. Jung's warning was not a condemnation. It was a map. It outlines the dangers so that we can navigate them. He did not believe these perils were inevitable, but were challenges to be met through the lifelong process he called individuation, the journey of becoming a conscious, integrated whole. The solution is not to silence your intuition or force yourself to be more like everyone else. The solution is to build a bridge between your inner world and the outer world. The first and most crucial step is engaging the shadow. You must have the courage to turn and face the parts of yourself that you have repressed, the anger, the fear, the perceived weaknesses, and the unlived dreams. The shadow holds immense energy and creativity. By consciously engaging with it, by asking what it wants and what it has to teach you, you stop being its puppet and start integrating its power. It is the process of owning all of yourself, not just the parts that feel comfortable or acceptable. The second and most practical step is grounding through expression. This is the absolute key. An intuition that remains locked in the mind is a fantasy that can become toxic. An intuition that is expressed becomes a creation. Jung insisted that inner visions must be translated into a tangible form. Write them down, paint them, build something. Give your inner perceptions a body in the world. This act of translation anchors them. It makes them real, preventing the inner world from becoming a closed loop, a prison of your own making. It honors the vision by giving it life outside of you. This leads to the third step, embracing your conscious responsibility. Your sensitivity is not a curse, it is a responsibility. You have been given access to a particular perception of truth, and your task is to become a worthy steward of it. This means you must actively cultivate the discipline to balance your inner and outer worlds. It means accepting that your intuition is a powerful orientation, but it is not absolute. It must be tested against reality. It requires you to stay engaged with ordinary life, with relationships, with nature, with the simple grounding tasks of being human, precisely because your tendency is to drift away. The journey for the intuitive introvert moves through great stages. First, you experience the gift, the wonder of your heightened perception. Then you may encounter the perils, the psychological traps of dissociation and inflation that Jung warned of. But if you persist, you can reach the final stage, integration. This is where vulnerability is transformed back into a profound and usable strength. You learn to be the channel, not the vessel. You stand with one foot in the world of symbols and one foot firmly on the earth, and you become a bridge between them. The warning from Carl Jung is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. It is a call to honor the magnitude of your gift by accepting the profound challenge that comes with it. You are not meant to live lost in a labyrinth of your own mind. Your deep perceptions are not for you alone. They are meant to be brought into the light, expressed in the world, and used to create a life of meaning and purpose. The path is not easy. It demands courage, consciousness, and a commitment to staying grounded. But it is the path to wholeness. It is the difference between being a victim of your own depth and becoming a conscious participant in its unfolding. If you feel that you belong to this invisible world, if you live among symbols and intuitions that few understand, share in the comments how you have dealt with this crossing. What strategies have you found to remain whole? Your response may help others who live the same silent dilemma.